Yeah, the meetups were great last year. The thought behind it is we don't want to wait for an event like an Irish night to get our members out to the ballpark. We want people to be able to meet other people that are in the area that are interested in what's going on. And so essentially, if you want to go to the ballpark and you're planning on going, or you just want to go meet other members, just buy some tickets for you and your family or you and your friends, go to the ballpark. But before you go, when you get your tickets a few weeks in advance, let us know. And what we'll do is we'll just put it out on social media and we'll coordinate a time and a place for everybody to meet. I think last year in Camden Yards and Citi Field, the meeting place was like the second inning or the fourth inning. And we just come up with a designated place and a designated time, and everybody goes and meets there.
Hello, and welcome to episode 58 of the Irish Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Becker. You just heard from John Fitzgerald, founder of the Irish American Baseball Society, and he will be our guest today on the show. John will be talking about all the big things the Irish American Baseball Society accomplished last month for St. Patrick's Day. He's also going to be talking about what is coming up for the organization. We'll discuss the Irish Wolfhounds, the Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame, and ballpark meetups later this summer. Let's welcome John Fitzgerald back to the Irish Baseball Podcast. Thanks for being here, John.
Hey, Rick. Thanks for having me.
So we want to do a little bit of a recap because this year the Irish American Baseball Society had so much going on for St. Patrick's Day, and I think we need to talk about it because this was so exciting. The first year with Steve Garvey serving in this ambassador role, and the society was just everywhere.
Yeah, it was cool. It was different. I mean, Steve's been really interested and involved. I mean, he's been in the Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame since I think 2008 or 2009. So this is something that's kind of near and dear to his heart. And when we asked him if he wanted to come in for the parade, he was all about it. And so we tried to wrap a bunch of media stuff around that so that, people could find out more about us. And I think by the time he marched, a lot of people had seen him or heard that he was in town or heard something about it. So it was great exposure for the organization. And I think everybody had a really great time.
He was on a lot of big time shows and definitely pumping up the organization. And then he was part of our team that got to walk in the St. Patrick's Day parade in New York City. How exciting was it to pull off getting our group in this parade?
It was really just a great honor. I mean, the parade contacted us in, I think it was January, and they reached out to us actually because of this podcast. I think that was one of the reasons, I had put you in touch with Hillary Byrne, who's the chairman of the Parade Foundation. Hillary was on this podcast and I kept in touch with him and he reached out and said, hey, would your organization want to march in the parade? There was not any hesitation. The only hesitation was exactly what does it entail? And they, they have minimums on how many people have to march. So you have to make sure everybody comes out. And, it was a big honor. And I think that Steve certainly enjoyed it and enjoyed the entire, week of, like you said, doing radio and TV. He went to St. Patrick's Cathedral the morning of St. Patrick's Day. And he went to the Parade Foundation Gala dinner, just to talk about what we're doing in Ireland, to talk about the Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame and just how the whole history of baseball with the Irish impact intersects with what we're doing in Ireland and what we're doing over here to help, promote baseball in the Irish American community. So it was great. It was great for us. I think it was great for Steve, and certainly we hope the parade enjoyed it. And so far, the reports I have back from them is that they were thrilled that Steve was involved and that all our people came out to march.
And I can speak from somebody who's down here in Florida. That's where I live, and I wasn't able to make it up to that. But just getting the chance to follow along with the marchers who were in the parade and see them just flashing live video of bagpipers going in front of St. Patrick's Cathedral and seeing all of these things as they happened on social media. It was a really big moment for the Irish American Baseball Society because I think it gives us more of an opportunity to say, hey, make sure you're liking us on social media, because we are always doing really, really exciting stuff. And you don't want to miss that. I was stuck working all day on St. Patrick's Day. So just getting those little chances to take a couple minutes and watch some of the clips, see some of the pictures of the people in the Irish American Baseball Society experiencing this. I think it says, like, you want to be following us. You want to be paying attention to what we're doing, because we always have great stuff happening.
Yeah, right. And I'm sorry you had to work all day on St. Patrick's Day, but it was really a culmination of an entire week going back to the St. Patrick's Parade in Baltimore, which was the weekend before. And that was our first parade. So as an organization, we were founded right before the year before the pandemic. And we just, have been growing steadily. And we got the opportunity to march in Baltimore, got the opportunity to march in New York. So the Baltimore parade happened. 2 days later, Steve landed in New York, and then that happened. And then while that was going on, we actually had two events where one of the pitchers from our Irish Wolfhounds team, Mitch Hillert, he spoke to an Irish organization. He actually did a meet and greet and signed autographs at Clover Stadium in Pomona, New York, to promote the Wolfhounds debut game in June. So it was all these different things happening in a week's time. There was a lot of coordination, a lot of volunteers stepped up to really help make this happen and coordinate everything. But I think to have Steve Garvey marching, up Fifth Avenue on St. Patrick's Day, it was a perfect culmination to a really great week of things that happened in three locations.
And in a future episode, we are going to talk a lot more about the Irish Wolfhounds, but I want to move on and sort of talk about what might be happening next year. And if somebody this year saw all of these exciting happenings around St. Patrick's Day, and listen, for a lot of us, like I said, I have to work. For some people, they were just finding out about those things. But looking forward to next year, is there maybe a membership level in the Irish American Baseball Society where people are going to find out about these things earlier, maybe be able to make some plans for next year, and maybe have the opportunity to join us in some of these experiences?
Yeah, I mean, the dues paying members, and we have different levels of dues paying members, but any dues paying member would have an opportunity to march in a parade like New York. A parade like New York, it's you want a lot of people to march, but there's a lot of interest. So you have to make sure that you kind of, there's always this balancing act where we want everything to be open and accessible to everybody. And we do a great job at that with our free membership level. But on the other hand, we do have dues paying members. And when there's something kind of exclusive or a hot ticket, I guess you'd say, like the New York City St. Patrick's Day Parade, we open that up to the dues paying members first. And our lowest membership level for dues paying members is the green level. And the green level is $20 a year. If you're a member, at any level, you're going to find out about this stuff. Certain things that are, going to be a tough ticket to get, that's going to be opened up to the dues members first. And that's, I think the fairest way to do it. The easiest way to join is just go to the website, irishbaseball.org. And if you want to keep an eye on what's going on, just check your emails and keep an eye on social media and we'll let you know. And we do want to have more parades next year. I mean, the New York City parade, obviously, Baltimore parade, we want to be in those again. But if you're a member at any level, free or dues paying, and you've got a local parade and you can get even 8 to 10 people together to march behind our banner, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter how big your group is. We can grow in your area. So we would love to march in more parades next year.
And I think getting back to the New York parade and talking about members who pay dues getting the first crack at being a part of that, I think if you would tell somebody for $20 you get to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade, they would do that in a heartbeat. And then they get all of the other benefits of being a dues paying member of the Irish American Baseball Society. And I think we can even take a minute here to just talk about some of those other benefits. I know one that I saw recently on social media is to be able to get one of those Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame pins. You have two opportunities to get one of those. One of them is to be elected into the Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame. So good luck with that. Start practicing, take some grounders. Or they are also available to certain dues-paying members.
Yeah, those pins are only. Well, don't sell yourself short, Rick, because you don't have to play. You could, the Irish Baseball Podcast might qualify you, might qualify me someday. Actually, I'm already in, so I could take one. But I had forgotten about that. Yeah, the pins are really cool. I actually just got them in the mail a couple of days ago. I opened them up, and it's the same company that does our regular membership pins, and they're quality pins. But I was kind of surprised even by how like large and really just cool looking they were. But to get a pin, like you said, you either have to be an inductee. Obviously, this year's inductees are Jim Palmer, Jim Leland, and the late John McSherry. Or you could be a member at the gold level or a lifetime member, and then you would get the pins. And we're also looking at kind of shutting off our gold level memberships until like right before voting. So we're looking at that, and I think that's going to kind of make these pins an even more attractive piece for people, because we're going to have like a limited time. Like you can join at a Hall of Fame gold level membership right before the nomination and the voting process starts. So we'll see where that goes, but the pins are just beautiful.
And of course, our long national nightmare is over and baseball season has officially started. We are in the MLB season. It started with a fantastic World Baseball Classic. And I know we're going to talk more over the coming months about trying to get Ireland in the World Baseball Classic at some point. But we are now into baseball season. And one of the things you did last year with the organization, and we're trying to do it again this year, is get some meetups at major league games, even minor league games, trying to get groups together to go see games and meet up with other members of the Irish American Baseball Society. So why don't you talk about that a little bit as well, John?
Yeah, the meetups were great last year. The thought behind it is we don't want to wait for an event like an Irish night to get our members out to the ballpark. We want people to be able to meet other people that are in the area that are interested in what's going on. And so essentially, if you want to go to the ballpark and you're planning on going, or you just want to go meet other members, just buy some tickets for you and your family or you and your friends, go to the ballpark. But before you go, when you get your tickets a few weeks in advance, let us know. And what we'll do is we'll just put it out on social media, and we'll coordinate a time and a place for everybody to meet. I think last year in Camden Yards and Citi Field, the meeting place was like the second inning or the fourth inning. And we just come up with a designated place and a designated time, and everybody goes and meets there. So we're not sitting together and it's only, for an inning or, however long it takes. Everybody gets together, takes a photo, maybe, chats a little bit, grabs a beer or a hot dog or whatever, hangs out. And then when you're ready, you just head back to your seat. So there's no pressure. There's nothing, if you just want to come in for the photo or say hi to some people, meet some people, head back to your seat. That's cool. If you want to talk a little bit longer, that's cool too. So there's no pressure. Nobody has to buy tickets in a certain area or anything like that. You're not sitting with a whole group of people in bad seats, which is kind of a hallmark of some Irish nights that I've seen. But it's like you can pick your own seats. You go with your family, go with people and it all starts with our members. So if you want to go to the ballpark, just let us know what day you're going. Make sure you go with some people that and that you want to watch a ball game with, and we'll coordinate the rest. And we put through social media, and people get word of it. And, you might get 15, 20 people to come out, and you all meet at one designated spot, and that's it. You just hang out for a little bit and go back to your seat. And we'd like to do that all over the country this year, as many times as people want. I know some of our members are diehards for certain teams, always at the ballpark. We should have multiple meetups. because people should know who you are. And that goes for minor league ballparks as well. So anybody that's interested, just reach out. You can reach out on the Facebook group. You could email me directly. Let me know when you're going, and we'll hook something up.
Yeah, I know down here in Florida, I'm already looking at some schedules and trying to figure out a few days that we might be able to do them, because not only do we have 2 major league teams down here, we just have a ton of minor league teams and some interesting ballparks to see minor league baseball. There's the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp that play right in the shadows of the Jaguars Stadium, and you have the Tampa Tarpons with their female manager who made a ton of news last year and play in the Yankees spring training facility. And they do things like $2 Tuesdays, and you just don't get to experience that kind of value and get that close to the action when you go to some of these major league games all the time. I do think that getting out and seeing minor league baseball every once in a while really does renew your love for the game.
Was Jim Christopher said that, right? That's kind of his thing, and I think he's right. I think that's why he's got such a following with Let's Get To. So I agree. I think going out to the minor league ballparks, we haven't done a meetup at a minor league ballpark, but there's been a lot of talk about it. So we just need, some members to just let us know when you're going. And even with a minor league team, we could even potentially call the team and let them know that that's what we're doing. If we're going to descend on a minor league stadium, we may as well let them know, and maybe we can get some recognition on the scoreboard.
John Fitzgerald, founder of the Irish American Baseball Society. It is always great to have you on the show and keep everybody up to date with everything that's going on, because we really are doing a lot with this organization.
Thanks, Rick. I try. So keep checking social media and the emails, and we'll do our best to get that word out. And as soon as we have info, we'll pass it along.
We'll return on April 24th with episode 59 of the Irish Baseball Podcast. I'll be having a conversation with basketball coach, fiddler, and writer Russ Bradford. In our talk, he describes teaching new writers by using the example of Michael Jordan's baseball career.
I use the Michael Jordan example all the time to people who want to be writers. Here's the guy, there's maybe the greatest athlete in the history of the world, or one of the greatest athletes in the history of the world. I happen to think he was the greatest athlete ever, and he couldn't get out of minor league baseball. The hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a round ball with a round bat. And Jordan was, he was admirably pretty good, as even to get to the minor leagues, you got to be damn good. But it would take just as it would in writing or fiddling, it's going to take quite a commitment, at least a decade to get good at something. And Jordan just didn't have a decade to do it. So I use that example all the time, especially when I have friends come to me and say, not just my students, but I want to write a book. I think I'll write a book. And no matter how successful or smart you are, it's still a craft.
Hear from Russ Bradford in 2 weeks. This has been episode 58 of the Irish Baseball Podcast.